Right now, 50,000 people directly above your head are screaming for death with a single voice, but you cannot see upward. Your world, 10 meters below Rome's most brilliant marble, consists only of dampness, the smell of blood, and the sound of rusty chains. This is the Hypogeum, the beating heart of Rome's colossal death machine. Everyone stares at the Colosseum's magnificent walls, but nobody discusses that impossible engineering beneath the sand. Have you ever wondered how Roman engineers, 2,000 years ago, without using any electricity, made massive predators and heavily armed gladiators appear suddenly in the arena's center like ghosts? Between those colossal stone blocks, elevators powered by slaves' muscle strength and secret passages echoing with the growls of tigers. Today, in the History Lab laboratory, we are dissecting not just a stadium, but the most complex, most ingenious, and most savage engineering marvel of the ancient world. Forget the victory cries above the sand. Today, we are turning the wheels of that dark mechanism beneath the sand, the gears of hell itself. Do you have the courage to descend into Rome's greatest secret, immediately beneath those bloody sands? If you are ready to discover the dirty truths behind this engineering genius, do not forget to like the video and mention in the comments what you think is the Colosseum's most impressive detail. Subscribe to the channel to build together those moments history did not record. In our laboratory today, we are bringing the truth beneath the sand into the light. Take a deep breath. Not the fresh Mediterranean air you might imagine, but the stale, thick atmosphere that clings to your throat. You are standing in a corridor barely 2 meters wide, carved from travertine and volcanic tufa. The ceiling presses down on you, so low that taller men must stoop. Your torch flickers, casting dancing shadows on damp stone walls that glisten with condensation. The temperature down here never changes, perpetually cool, perpetually clammy, untouched by the scorching Roman sun beating down on the arena floor 10 meters above your head.
This is where you wait to die. Or if fortune smiles cruelly upon you, this is where you wait to kill. The Hypogeum stretches beneath the entire arena floor like a subterranean city dedicated to death. Imagine a labyrinth of 32 animal pens, each one reinforced with iron bars thicker than a man's wrist. Right now, in pen 17, a North African lion is pacing, back and forth, its paws wearing smooth depressions in the stone floor. The beast has not eaten in 3 days. This is intentional. Hungry animals perform better, fight more viciously, die more dramatically. The lion's handler, a bestiarius named Quintus, knows every mood of his lethal charge. He has fed it, cleaned its cage, treated its wounds from previous games. He has also trained it, through starvation and provocation, to associate the wooden platform in its pen with feeding time. When that platform rises toward the light, the lion has learned to expect food. Today, the food will be a condemned criminal with no weapon and no hope. In the adjacent corridor, a gladiator is preparing. His name is Gaius, a Thracian captured in Rome's Balkan campaign 7 years ago. He has survived 43 combats. The notches carved into his leather wrist guard tell the story. 43 times he has stood on blood-soaked sand while crowds screamed for carnage. Today might be his 44th victory, or it might be his death. The odds shift with each match, with each injury that heals slightly wrong, with each year that steals a fraction of speed from aging muscles. He is 28 years old. In the gladiatorial profession, this makes him ancient. Gaius stands in one of the 28 elevator platforms built into the Hypogeum's floor. The platform is deceptively simple, thick wooden planks reinforced with iron brackets measuring 3 meters square. Below him, in a chamber excavated even deeper into the earth, 8 slaves are positioned around a massive wooden capstan. These men are the invisible power source of Rome's greatest spectacle. When the signal comes, a bell rung by an overseer watching events above through a narrow shaft, these 8 will walk in circles, pushing wooden bars that turn the capstan, which winds a rope, which raises the platform, which delivers Gaius into the arena like a package from hell. But the genius is not in the simple mechanics of rope and pulley. Any civilization can build a basic elevator. The genius is in the timing, the coordination, the theatrical precision. There are 28 of these platforms scattered throughout the Hypogeum. Each one can rise independently, or they can be synchronized to rise in sequence, creating waves of beasts or fighters emerging from what appears to be solid ground. The overseer in the central command chamber holds the conductor's baton in this symphony of violence. He watches the arena through multiple shafts, tracks the emperor's signals, coordinates with the editor, the day's sponsor, and rings the bells that tell each slave crew when to push, when to pause, when to lower the platform for the next victim. Stand beside Gaius on his platform. You can hear the muffled roar from above, feel the vibration of 50,000 feet stamping in rhythm. The crowd is chanting something, probably a gladiator's name, though down here the sound is too distorted to distinguish words. Gaius checks his equipment one final time. His gladius, the short sword that gives his profession its name, is freshly sharpened. His rectangular shield bears dozens of sword scars from previous battles. His helmet, crested and visored, transforms him from a terrified human into an anonymous instrument of violence. This anonymity is deliberate. The helmet makes him less human to the crowd, makes his death more entertaining, and his survival more impressive. The bell rings, once, twice, 3 times. The rhythm tells the slave crew below which speed to employ, slow for dramatic effect, fast for surprise. Today is slow. The slaves below begin pushing their capstan bars. You feel the platform shudder, then begin its ascent. The trapdoor above Gaius's head, invisible from the arena floor, is already being opened by another crew operating from concealed positions. Light begins to penetrate the darkness, not the flickering torchlight of the Hypogeum, but the brilliant Roman sun. The roar of the crowd grows louder, more distinct, transforming from a general noise into individual screams, cheers, curses, bets being shouted. Gaius rises through the opening like a demon summoned from the underworld. To the spectators in the marble seats, it appears magical, impossible. Solid sand suddenly opens and disgorges a fully armed warrior. They do not see the trapdoor, disguised by a thin layer of sand that falls away as the platform breaks the surface. They do not see the slaves in darkness, their backs aching, their hands raw from rope burns. They see only the spectacle, the impossible theater that makes Rome the envy of the world. But here is what most historians miss, what makes this engineering truly revolutionary. The platforms do not simply rise and stop. They can be tilted, angled, thrust upward with enough force to literally throw their cargo into the arena. This is how the most dramatic surprises are achieved. A tiger seemingly leaping from solid ground, a gladiator appearing to fly into battle. The mechanism is brilliantly simple. The platform rides on 4 corner posts that can be locked at different heights. Lock 3 posts, leave 1 free, and the platform tilts as it rises, converting vertical motion into horizontal momentum. A beast or man on that platform has 2 choices: ride the tilt and land running, or fall and become immediately vulnerable. The Hypogeum's genius extends beyond simple elevators. Walk deeper into this underground maze, and you discover something that challenges everything we thought possible about ancient engineering: drainage channels carved into the bedrock itself. These channels served dual purposes, removing rainwater that seeped through the arena floor and, more remarkably, draining the vast quantities of water used for the Naumachia, the mock naval battles that occasionally transformed the Colosseum into a lake. Yes, you read that correctly. The Romans flooded the Colosseum. The Naumachia represents perhaps the most audacious spectacle ever conceived. Imagine this space, this arena where Gaius now stands fighting, filled with water deep enough to float actual warships. Not models, not toys, but full-scale naval vessels manned by condemned prisoners trained in maritime combat. The logistics alone should have been impossible. The Colosseum's arena measures 83 meters by 48 meters. To fill this space to even 2 meters depth requires approximately 8,000 cubic meters of water. That is 8 million liters. 8 million liters that must somehow be brought in, contained without leaking through the porous travertine floor, used for several hours of entertainment, then drained away before the structure can return to normal gladiatorial use. How? The Aqua Claudia aqueduct passes close to the Colosseum's eastern side. Roman engineers constructed a dedicated branch line, essentially a massive pipe that could be opened to flood the arena through multiple inlet channels built into the Hypogeum's lower levels. But water coming in is the easy part. The real genius is in the drainage. Those channels carved into bedrock that we mentioned, they connect to Rome's great sewer system, the Cloaca Maxima, which empties into the Tiber. By creating a carefully calculated gradient, engineers ensured water would flow out under its own gravitational pull, requiring no pumping mechanism. The entire arena could be flooded in under 2 hours and drained in 3.
But here is the cost no inscription mentions. The Hypogeum itself had to be sealed during Naumachia. All those elevators, all those animal pens, all those mechanisms, unusable. Waterproofed wooden bulkheads were installed to protect the machinery, essentially creating a flat-bottomed pool where the sophisticated underground complex normally operated. This meant Naumachia required different kinds of spectacles, different logistics entirely. They were rare precisely because they rendered the Colosseum's most impressive feature temporarily useless. Now look up. Far above the arena floor, above even the highest spectator seats, something else defies ancient gravity. The Valerium, Rome's engineering answer to the Mediterranean sun. Picture a fabric roof covering 45,000 square meters. The canvas alone weighs several tons. The rope rigging to support it weighs several tons more. This is not a simple awning. This is a retractable stadium roof conceived 18 centuries before modern material science. The Valerium was made from canvas panels sewn together and soaked in a fire-retardant solution of alum. Roman engineers understood something modern designers rediscovered. The fabric does not need to be solid. Gaps between panels actually increase stability by allowing wind to pass through rather than catching like a sail. But how do you deploy this massive canopy? The answer lies in Rome's naval supremacy. Approximately 1,000 sailors from the imperial fleet at Misenum were permanently stationed in Rome specifically to operate the Colosseum's Valerium. These men, trained in the rigging of war galleys, understood rope mechanics, tension distribution, and coordinated pulling. They worked from positions atop the Colosseum's outer wall, where stone corbels, still visible today, supported wooden masts. 160 ropes radiating from the Valerium's edge were secured to these masts. When the signal was given, teams of sailors hauled in coordinated rhythm, raising the canvas like a ship's sail, extending it across the arena to provide shade that could be adjusted throughout the day by pulling different rope combinations.
The precision required is staggering. Pull too hard on one side and the entire canvas tears. pull unevenly and the weight distribution shifts, potentially collapsing masts. Yet these sailors could deploy or retract the entire velarium in under 30 minutes, adjusting it continuously to follow the sun's path across the Roman sky. And beneath it all, beneath the spectacle and engineering marvel, lies the arena floor itself. That famous sand, arena in Latin, which gives us our modern word arena, was not decorative. Walk onto it during a lull in the games, your feet sink slightly. The sand is deep, perhaps 15 centimeters, raked smooth between events. But dig down and you will find the sand is mixed with sawdust. Probe deeper and you will discover that beneath this absorbent layer lies a wooden floor, and beneath that, drainage channels. The sand's purpose is brutally practical. It soaks up blood, liters of it. Gladiatorial combat, animal hunts, executions all produce spectacular quantities of blood. On sand, blood spreads, darkens, disappears. The crowd sees death without seeing its messiest evidence. Between major events, crews rake the sand, mixing blood-soaked top layers with cleaner sand beneath, maintaining the illusion of cleanliness. The truly saturated sand is removed completely, carted away to be dumped in the Tiber, replaced with fresh sand from quarries outside Rome.
Return now to that slave crew operating the capstan below Gaius's platform. Focus on one man. His name does not survive in any record, so call him Lucius. He is 23 years old, born into slavery on a latifundia estate in Hispania. 3 months ago, he was sold to the Colosseum administration, specifically for Hypogeum labor. His world has shrunk to this, pushing a wooden bar in eternal circles in near total darkness, his back screaming, his hands bleeding through calluses that have calluses, his lungs filling with the damp underground air that breeds disease in slave quarters. Lucius cannot see what happens above. He does not know if the gladiator he raises to the surface lives or dies. He does not know that 50,000 free Romans are cheering, that the emperor himself is watching, that the spectacle made possible by Lucius's labor is praised throughout the Mediterranean as proof of Rome's cultural superiority. Lucius knows only the bell, the rhythm, and the bar. Push, step, push, step. His entire existence distilled into muscle memory and endurance. This is the Hypogeum's darkest secret, the one no inscription celebrates. It is powered entirely by human suffering. Those 28 elevators require 224 slaves per full deployment. Add the handlers, the trapdoor operators, the drainage workers, the sand raking crews, the corpse removal teams, and the Colosseum's unseen workforce numbers over 1,000 humans, whose sole purpose is to maintain the machinery of death above.
Yet here is the terrible irony. This represents some of the finest engineering the ancient world ever achieved. The same civilization that built the Pantheon's impossible dome, that constructed aqueducts spanning continents, that created concrete lasting 2 millennia, directed that genius toward creating better ways to kill for entertainment. The calculus was always about spectacle efficiency, how to present more deaths, more dramatically, to larger crowds with less visible effort. Stand at the intersection of the Hypogeum's main corridors. To your left, an African elephant is being prodded into position, its handler using fire to direct it toward a platform. To your right, 3 criminals are being chained together for a mass execution. Behind you, a venator is checking his nets before facing a pack of wolves. Ahead, a trapdoor is being reset, its hinges oiled with animal fat to ensure it opens silently. This is not entertainment. This is industrial-scale killing disguised as sport, bureaucratized violence given architectural form. The Hypogeum's influence echoes through 2,000 years into your world. every modern stadium that deploys massive video screens from hidden compartments, every arena that creates theatrical entrances through stage lifts, every sporting venue that controls crowd flow through calculated corridor design, all are descendants of this Roman innovation. The Super Bowl halftime show deploying elaborate sets from beneath the field, that is the Hypogeum's grandchild. The WWE wrestler appearing through trapdoors in billowing smoke, the Colosseum did it first, with actual lethal stakes.
But more troubling is this. The Hypogeum perfected something darker than entertainment technology. It perfected the industrialization of spectacle, the bureaucratic organization of mass violence for public consumption. Every authoritarian regime that stages elaborate rallies, every dictator who understands that the masses can be distracted from oppression through spectacle, learned this lesson from Rome. Panem et circenses, bread and circuses. Give them food and entertainment, and they will not question how power operates beneath the surface, in the hidden corridors where decisions are made and mechanisms turn. The Colosseum stopped hosting games in the 6th century. The Hypogeum was eventually filled with rubble, forgotten, buried. For over 1,000 years, visitors to Rome walked above this maze without knowing it existed. When archaeological excavations finally revealed it in the 19th century, scholars stood in those damp corridors and wept at the engineering sophistication. They also wept at what that sophistication served. Today, you can tour the Hypogeum, walk those corridors where Lucius pushed his capstan, where Gaius waited to die, where the lion paced and hunger made it mad. The mechanisms are gone, stolen for scrap or rotted away, but the stone remains, the elevator shafts remain, the animal pen depressions remain, and if you stand very quietly in that underground darkness, you can almost hear them still. The bell ringing, the capstan creaking, the 50,000 voices above screaming for blood they never had to see spilled. Close your eyes one final time. The smell of damp stone and ancient death fades, but the Hypogeum never truly disappears. Every time you watch a stadium spectacle, every time you marvel at stage effects, every time you cheer for entertainment engineered to perfection, you are standing on the shoulders of Roman slaves who turned cranks in darkness so emperors could distract the masses with light. The machinery may be gone, but the blueprint survives. In that survival lies both our inheritance and our warning. Rome asked, how sophisticated can we make our circuses? Perhaps we should ask, how sophisticated should they be? The Hypogeum had an answer. History is still waiting for ours.